Hey guys, Mike here from Vinny Outdoors. Yes, we are in my kitchen. What the hell are we doing in here? We're doing an experiment. When I started making soft plastic baits, I really wanted to know what salt actually did to the baits. What effect on the fall rate does salt really have? I've never really done this. I never had a good way of testing it. Well, I went out and I bought a fish tank. I poured up some baits with different ratios of salt, and we're going to do a test to see if we can determine what I think is the best fall rate so that I'm not wasting salt and also so that I'm not making my baits less durable for no reason. So we're going to figure that ratio out right now. How we're going to do this is I have right here, this is my first test. It's actually a Yum Dinger. It's a chartreuse pepper Yum Dinger. I'm using this. It's kind of a control test because this is kind of the known bait. It's one of the ones I use. It's one of the ones I like the fall rate of. So I want to test this to see how I compare against one of the bigger, industry leading baits. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to set this on top of the water. So it's just in there, starting it, stopping it. 1.8 seconds is what it took for that to hit the bottom. I am going to drop two different baits. These right here. These are Black Blue Fleck. They're quarter cup of salt. The reason why I want to drop two different ones is because I do understand that the mix ratio is going to be slightly different. It's not going to be exactly the same. It's not a manufactured bait. It's a homemade bait. So I want to drop two different baits from the same batch just to make sure that the fall rate is roughly about the same. So the water has stopped moving around. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to set it on top. I'm going to let it go, and then we're going to count it down to the bottom. Okay, that was 2.2 seconds. We'll drop the next one. .5. It did hit the other bait on the way down, so roughly 2.2 on the quarter cup. And we're going to drop these ones in, and we're going to see what the difference is. So we got the first one right here. Okay, that was 1.2. Drop this one in here. .3. Alright guys, so I'm an angler. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a mathematician. But this is kind of the numbers I got, and I think this is going to help you guys if you're making your own baits. If you do a quarter cup of salt, you're going to get about a 4.4 second fall rate per foot. Now, if you increase that by 2 tablespoons, you're actually going to cut your fall rate by about a full second. So you get a roughly 3.5 second fall rate per foot by using 6 tablespoons of salt for a little under a cup of plastic salt. So if you do a percentage, it ended up being about 40% of what the total volume is. Now, the next measurement's a little weird. I had 3/4 of a cup of plastisol. It was the same plastisol that I was using from before, and I added a little bit more salt. So I did the math best I could. Came out a little over 50%, so like 54%, right? That cut the fall rate down another second, and it made it about 2.4 seconds of fall rate. So what I'm going to say is, if you're doing plastisol, making your own baits, if you mix it from about 45% of what you're making, so if you have a full cup of plastisol, if you keep it basically under a half a cup just slightly, you're probably going to get about the equivalent fall rate of a Yum Dinger. And that's pretty much the best math I'm going to be able to give you because, again, I don't have a PhD in math. I have a PhD in bass. So that's what it's going to be, guys. I would say about 40% of the volume of what you're using should basically equal out to about a 2-second fall rate overall, which is about what that Yum Dinger fell at. So this is one of many bait making videos I'm going to be doing. They're not going to be all this technical. A lot of them are just going to be recipe episodes where I show you guys the combinations that I make, how the final results come out, and some of it's going to be some experimental stuff. I'm probably even going to hand paint some crankbaits. I have some blanks that I've been playing around with. And overall, I'm going to try to put these out once a month, bait making videos, just to give you guys some more content, get the thought processes rolling. If you guys have any ideas on other science experiments you want me to try to run and fail at, let me know, and we'll definitely try to do that for you guys as well. I want to thank you for coming along with me. If you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and as always, let's get out there, catch more fish.